Hello, everyone, and happy Sunday, and welcome everyone to our weekly webinar. I'm back. I apologize, and of course, I give you the heads up warning that I wouldn't be making the webinar last week. And I share with you the reason I went to the States. I went to see my family. I didn't really take the laptop with me. I just wanted to clear my mind. And as you know, sometimes it's a good thing to do because I was busy with things, of course, with work, with the markets and everything else. And I wanted to give quality time to my family and not to be stuck at the screen because there's always a temptation to trade. And I wanted to share with you a personal observation in a way. Like I said, I didn't take my laptop with me, and I was in New York. So I spent some time in Brooklyn with my family, and then a couple of days I went to the city. I went to Manhattan, did some shopping, went around. I went to eat some places, and I realized that the expensive stores are not really full with people. And then I went to one store in Brooklyn. It's kind of a budget store, TGI, I think it's called, where you can find some brand names cheaper. And there were a lot of people looking for the bargains, and the cash registers were really busy. There was a huge line of people. So, of course, I knew that the numbers are coming on inflation and everything else. And by seeing these things and feeling these worries in the air, you could say. Also, I fill up the gas from my sister's car when I borrowed it for a day or two, and it just the whole thing felt that there is inflation, of course, and things are not that great. Just an observation, and of course. We had the numbers coming up, and we'll be talking about in a moment. The high inflation is still there. So, again, as usually, I just want to give few things to the new people. The webinar, it's all about creating a plan and structure for the upcoming week. We're going through some big picture things, what's happening in general in the world, and we go through the economic calendar, and then we start looking at specific instruments on the trading platform, trying to make sense and maybe make a plan for the upcoming week. This is the whole thing. Okay, so let's move on. A few things about myself. This is my name, Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade. I've been involved with professional trading since June of 2000. I was licensed back in New York. I worked in a couple of prop firms as a day trader for many years, and I think about 11 years. And after that, I started to educate and mentor other traders. And currently, as I said, I'm working with AvaTrade, trying to really share my knowledge and assist customers with AvaTrade. This is the agenda of the webinar. As usual, we'll be talking about indices, stocks, commodities, and FX. And of course, please be in touch with us on the Telegram, Twitter, and my favorite YouTube channel is being updated, and new materials are being added daily. That includes educational materials, webinars, including this webinar, and a lot of things that you can find useful for yourself. It doesn't matter what level of experience you have. Okay, so sorry, my slides are a little bit jumpy. Before we go any further, of course, the risk warning, you can find a full statement at avatrade.com. The basic idea, you understand that we're not suggesting anything here. This is purely educational, and please visit the site for the full document on that. Now, I created this slide on FedEx. Anybody involved with trading probably heard this story on Friday. And the first thing comes to my mind, and if you remember, I mentioned a few weeks back that the market didn't see the bottom yet because we didn't really see the capitulation. And I went through a few of them. Like I said, I started in June 2000. That was the middle of dot-com burst when things were just collapsing. You saw the stock that used to cost $1,000 went to $1, and some that just got delisted. So I've seen what capitulation is, and I said that there's no capitulation yet, and maybe this is a sign of it. So FedEx, okay, a lot of traders were worried about the stock, but in one day they just reported lower earning per share. They also reported certain things, the closing about 90 offices and the temporary parking the aircraft. And of course, the high cost affected it as well. The price of oil has been high, and all the fundamental things that you can go and research. Of course, I'm not going to go through all of it, but the idea is take a look. It closed at 204.87 the day before, and then pre-market after reporting it, the stock opened at 159.31. So this is the day's range. Okay. And I think this is from Yahoo Finance. I took the screenshot. So it doesn't matter where you get it, it's going to be the same numbers. So the range of the day was between 155, 160, 184, and after the market, it went another 1% or almost 1% higher. So again, the market reacted to it. Many stocks gapped down, market went down. Just to give you an idea, we're going at the moment we'll go and see the indices and everything else. But I just want you to see, even in the picture, it looks a little scary. Just a drop, straight down of $43. Okay, so economic calendar. Before we go into it, just a few things that's happening in the world. Now, first of all, before I forget, Monday, it's a bank holiday. It's a funeral for Elizabeth, for Queen of England. You probably see it all over the news, of course. It also presents a huge security concern. I've been listening on different programs about it. They say that it will be hard to create necessary security, because you have a lot of world leaders coming there, and there's a big threat, and of course a lot of money, billions are being spent, and so on. So for those of you that trading UK market, it's going to be closed on Monday. Now, what else is happening? A lot of developments happening in the war. The Ukrainians are pushing the Russian army away. They taking away the territory slowly, town by town, and it looks like Putin is really looking weak. And even countries like China and India that kind of supported Russia, they kind of turning back. I'm not going to go into politics and everything else, but it's all affecting the markets, of course. It's all affecting the oil and gas prices. Europe, of course, there's a crisis with that, but more and more positive messages coming from Europe that Europe will be okay for the winter. With the shortage of gas, they're filling up the storages and so on. So these are the positive things. We'll see what happens, and we'll be taking a look at oil and natural gas at the moment. Now, so let's go to economic calendar. The highlight of the week, of course, is the Fed interest rate decision and the monetary policy statement, and the press conference is even more, because as you can see, every event, every interest rate, it kind of priced in, especially this time since we had last week a high inflation, and the market reacted to it in a negative way. So all the analysts saying that it's for granted that at least 0.75 it's going to be. So we know what it's going to be, but what really everybody will be paying attention against the language of Powell. What's next? How aggressive he sounds, and what are the next actions? And of course, everybody will be watching it, and the market will be reacting to it, and that's on Wednesday. So they're two-day meeting. It starts on Tuesday, but the announcement and the press conference is on Wednesday, the end of the two-day meeting. Now, on Tuesday, we have interest rate decision from Bank of China, And as you know, they've been lowering actually the rates to accommodate the industries there. They're having a hard time since the COVID and other issues, the energy prices up and so on. So let's see what surprise they're going to show us this time. We have meeting minutes from Australia. We have CPI numbers from Canada. So we'll be watching, of course, the Canadian dollar there. As I said, Wednesday, it's all about the Fed. And I almost forgot, again, there are more events. What I do here, I just filter out others and I'll leave the high impact events. So if you are watching the markets that are not here, and I always suggest in the beginning of the week or the weekend or whenever you have time, just go through the economic calendar. You can mark for yourself events and always say, is it important to know it? Is it important to understand it? Yes, I look at it in a simple way. I like to know that it's happening. For instance, I know that FOMC is happening and I know that the market will be super crazy at that time. Even if, we can't predict things. And I always say, even if you knew exactly what Powell would say or what the certain events or the bank decision or other details will be, you can never predict exactly what the market will do. But the fact that you're aware of it, it prevents you from, I don't know, being stuck in the position before the event or doing other things, because knowing is the power. So it's important to know, and I always stress this out. So Wednesday, it's all about FOMC. Now, Thursday is very important. For a long time, everybody's expecting Bank of Japan to take some actions. They haven't done anything for a while, and the yen's been super weak against the US dollar specifically. So maybe this time we'll see a surprise and maybe increase in interest rates. So that's on Thursday. Interest rate decision from Swiss franc for those that are trading that currency. Bank of England, we have interest rate decisions. So it's a week full of interest rate decisions. So far you have US, Japan, Switzerland, and UK. So that's all about Thursday. And Friday, sorry for that jump. Friday, we have PMI numbers from Germany and European Union, and PMI numbers from UK and retail sales from Canada. So this is the economic calendar. And again, take a look at economic calendar, make up a plan, something that really relates to the industries and the geographical places that you're involved with your trading. So let's move on now to MT4. By the way, for those of you that are focusing more on the specific stocks, the MT5 platform has a larger list of stocks, including the FedEx. That was the thing. So I cannot show you FedEx on MT4. It's not here. But if you do trade stocks and interested in trading mostly stocks, MT5 has an amazing collection of stocks and, of course, a larger list of instruments available if you'd like to take a look at that. Now, let's start from indices. Start from indices, and this is a weekly chart. As you could see, it was a super red week, and we went down, but we didn't close below the previous week. And also an interesting thing, if you look at S&P again for new people and inexperienced traders, S&P 500 is pretty much the index that every trader in the world is using as a general indication what's happening in the market. So I'm taking S&P as an example. Take a look. Since this drop on interest rate on the 13th, this was the initial drop. This is hourly chart. We drop and then we continue. It was a consolidation, continued lower. And Friday, of course, with the FedEx coming out with this news and dropping 21%, the market went lower. But take a look what happened the last 3 hours on Friday. it looked like traders didn't want to go short into the weekend, or other reasons, or maybe they said, okay, maybe this is it and this is the bottom. I really don't know what's in the heads of those traders, but we had a nice bounce the last 3 hours of the trading session. So, and that looks actually strong. And if you take on the daily chart, we closed higher than we opened. If you take Friday's candle, the open was at 38.94 and a quarter, and the close was 38.99.75. It's about $4.50 higher than the open. And again, we did touch the previous level of support, and it will be interesting to watch, because the week that we're entering, it's going to be very interesting, because on one side, everybody knows that the Feds are going to increase by 0.75, right? And everybody says, okay, maybe the market priced in already. Okay, FedEx sold out, or just one stock. By the way, UPS dropped only 4.5% on that day. So maybe it's just one stock that was overpriced. I'm just trying to, to speak up the thoughts of the traders out there. But just the fact that we did close higher than we opened on Friday, the last day of the week, and on the bad news and a lot of panic, that maybe, at least for now, maybe into Wednesday we might have a little bit of bounces. Really, really hard to say, but it looked like we retested this low of 38.83 from the 7th of September, beginning of September, and it could be that we're bouncing here. Now, NASDAQ, similar idea, also retested these lows of the same days, and the Dow Jones looks a little bit weaker because we actually closed the previous day below this low over here, but we still had the green day on Friday. So again, not to talk a lot about it, but we'll see. Maybe this move will continue. But again, if you remember me saying pretty much every week that some traders are following the rule. If the Friday close is higher than Thursdays, then Monday might continue higher. And if the opposite happens, the Friday closes below Thursday, then Monday would continue the sell-off as well. So in this case, if we follow that idea, we might see a positive Monday trading. So that's the US indices. DAX didn't do that great on Friday. It closed in red. Also, we're trying to retest the lows there. FTSE had a green day, but a gap down and then closed a little bit higher. Nikkei is in red, and it's been also retesting. So as you could see, most of the indices are retesting the lows of beginning of September. And that's very, very interesting. China is a sell-off, and it was expected. If you remember, we spoke about it, that it didn't hold the levels, and then it retested level by level and went lower. Now, the next level of support, it could be around 13,000. Again, that's from where the move started back in May, the end of May. So China is really suffering. And again, judging by that, if you remember, we said that interest rate decisions coming, they might be lowering even more to support the economy. And India. By the way, the Indian billionaire, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but he moved to the second place. So he's now number 2 after Elon Musk in wealth. He just bypassed Bezos. He was number 3 last week, and now he's number 2. And there were articles about him all over the place, that he's a high school dropout and so on, and he's doing well and making a lot of money. So indices, like we said, Friday, positive day for US indices. We might see continuation. And again, crucial Wednesday decision and press conference even more will be guiding us and showing what the market is doing after that decision. Now let's take a look at some individual stocks. And Twitter, last week they had decision by the shareholders. I don't really know exactly what's happening. Is the deal going through, not going through? Nevertheless, the investors at the investors meeting approved the takeover of the company for 44 billion. So I guess the deal is still on the table. I know they have these legal issues that they're dealing with. So Tesla is very interesting here. If you remember, this drop was the split 3-for-1, and the price at the split was it was priced at 304. I remember that day I was watching it, and then it went down to 265, 270, and now we're back at the after split level. It's very strong. As the market was selling, including on Friday with the FedEx story and everything else, Tesla's really holding this 303, 304 level. So we might expect or might see continuation to the upside, especially if the market shows a little bit of a strength. So that's Twitter and Tesla. TEVA, if you remember, I spoke about TEVA when this move happened and the price was upgraded to 13. I've been watching it, the stock here, and take a look. We look like we're retesting the support here. We dropped, this was on the 6th of September with the market dropping. We dropped to the low of 846, and then we went higher, retested 950, 940 level, and then we're back to retest this recent low. So some traders might find an opportunity here for buying, as a risk reward level is it could be nice here. Again, I'm not suggesting any trades. As I mentioned, this is purely educational, but pure math. If a trader decides to buy here on 865, he's risking about 60 cents to this low, 50, 60 cents, and potential to a few dollars to the upside. This could be a good potential. Now, big players. Apple is closing around 150, a key level, after being below on Friday. We'll be watching. By the way, Apple and Tesla have a huge amount of short positions in it, and there were articles all over the place. I'm not going to go into details, but a lot of traders are short Apple and Tesla as well. So Apple 150 key level, as you could see around here, we had the resistance, then it became support back then here, and it's a common sense 150 psychological number, always going to be a lot of actions from there. So again, we'll be seeing what happens here. They have new products. They announced there's a new watch, there's a new phone, Apple 14, there's a new chip, a lot of things is happening, and we'll be seeing if the investors are really still excited about the Apple stock. Microsoft, as everything else, has been selling, and the same thing, we came to retest the supports, in this case support of June, mid-June, and we did touch it, I think, here, and let's see what happens next. If you take a look at the weekly chart, it's a little bit clearer here. As you could see, we had a lot of consolidation here in the weekly chart, and then we had a nice move to the upside. We came back to it back in mid-June, and we tried to run. We hit the 50 moving average, and we're back at the same level after the smaller run that the previous. So in the weekly chart, it's clear, as you could see, we have a lower highs and the lower lows. So we might hold this level, and if the market continues selling off, we might break to the downside. In this case, we might see continuation to maybe 225 or even 210 on Microsoft. Now, another stock I wanted to bring is Intel. If you take a look on the daily chart, something interesting. Intel has been selling, and I think I mentioned it once or twice in our webinars. There's a lot of negative feedback in general in the industry, and CEO of Intel was saying that the hard times are continuous, and it doesn't look that great for the future. But take a look on Friday. The stock really, it gapped down, of course, with all the market, with the FedEx news, but it closed higher. So it could be that they're finding some values in the stock around these levels. Okay, we are trading around 29, and the level of strong support, it was right here around 26.50. They might take it down there, or maybe some traders are seeing opportunities here and looking to buy. Of course, it's a solid company. A lot of computers have components from Intel, including the processors, of course. So it's worth watching. Okay, so we're going to wrap up with the equity markets here, and let's move to commodities. And I just prepared something for you interesting with cotton and coffee. And take a look. Cotton came to a very interesting level here on daily chart. Take a look. There was a lot of consolidation here. The initial stop with this drop, and before this move happened, I remember I mentioned to you the cotton potential move to the upside, and it did happen. So after this initial drop, we stopped right at the level we're now. So that's attracted my attention right there. Then we had a sell-off here. We came right back and built a very strong support around this level, and then we moved to retest the this gap at the bottom of this gap. We never went higher, but we did touch exact number from this drop over here, and now we're touching the bottom of this range. So this could be again attractive for some traders for buying opportunities should the cotton go higher. And I think I mentioned to you last time that, of course, two things. Cotton, the supply could be affected by the weather and everything else, but I guess this drop here is driven by demand. As you know, probably China is the biggest user of it because a lot of clothing and things are being produced on the factories in China. Cotton is a big ingredient that's being used there. So it looks like a demand or low demand overpowers the shortage of supply, and so far we're selling, but we are in a very interesting, crucial level there, worth watching. Coffee, similar idea. If you take a look on Friday, we tried to touch the support around 210, 211, 212, and then we bounce from here. So similar idea. So this move happened in 3 days, very drastic move to the upside, and then we confirmed the previous high, and then we sold out. So it looks like, let me just draw the line here. It looks like this channel now, it's a very interesting channel, and the buyers could be buying at the bottom and looking to take it to the upside, and vice versa. Maybe it's going to be another attempt to come here, and the short sellers are going to come in. So that technically looks very interesting at these levels. Now, that's as far as soft commodities, and let's just take a look at one more. We'll take a look at wheat. We've been covering it every week pretty much. The moment we got out of 800 that I mentioned to you, we're going to move higher, and then we did a nice move. And then Thursday was a sell-off. Friday was a little bit of a reversal, but we are holding to these gains. So maybe we're building, consolidating here for continuation to the upside. If that happens, there's a potential of 930 price around these levels from which we sold out. And of course, in the opposite scenario, we're going to go and retest to see how solid that 800 support is. So we are at this place that potential we could move higher. So that's as far as soft commodities. Crude oil. Crude oil is acting up crazy. It's a lot of things there, including the OPEC statements. Of course, Russia-Ukraine crisis is affecting it. China's economy is slipping, but at the same time, everybody's screaming that China is getting discounted prices from Russia directly. So it's really a dark area there. We don't really know what's happening, but in general, the situation, the economic situation is putting a lot of pressure to oil, and it looked like we tried again to go through 90, we failed, and then we sold out again. So two things can happen. We can go retest 90 again, or maybe we're going to continue and retest the previous low here at 81 or 82 and see if this support on crude oil holds. So at least we have a nice channel. At least it's a clear channel between 81 and 90. It's about $9 range. Natural gas. Natural gas is also acting up. It's a lot of instability with the pipe being closed, with Europe giving the messages they're doing okay, with Russia's getting really weak on the political arena in the world and everything else. So as of now, we might continue lower here to this previous low around 7.5. It could be happening here. And if we fail to hold here, probably go to retest lower levels. I'm not going to guess here. Anything could happen. And again, it's all geopolitical here. Technically, we can be smart and pretend we know what's happening, but it's very hard to trade. Take a look at the spikes here. They do hold the levels, but it's very hard to trade. We'll be watching what's next. Gold. Gold, the moment it broke through the support around 1691, it just tanked. And again, fundamentally, I always attach gold. It's not me, it's the analyst always talking about it, that we should watch the 10-year yields. And as the yields broke through 3, we went to retest the highs of 3.5, and actually we almost touched it on Friday. The high on 10-year yields was 3.494 on Friday, and then we sold out, went through, we closed at 345.5, and gold did the same thing. Take a look. This was the bottom of gold on Friday. This is 1-hour chart. We went as low as 16.59 or 29 cents, and then the moment it was a sell-off in the yields, we bounced and went to retest higher levels here. But in general, as long as we're staying below this level, we might confirm, because what happens the moment the support breaks, it becomes a resistance. But in most cases, we need a confirmation of it. So a textbook scenario would be that we're coming here, we're retesting around 1691, we bounce against the ceiling and create a strong resistance and continue to the downside. Of course, Wednesday's announcement and press conference and interest rate decision will be a great indication of what's happening next in US dollar. And of course, gold will be reacting to that as well. Silver, we mentioned silver, I think last time we spoke. Silver is looking a little bit better than gold. It looks like there's some buying interest happening here, so it's worth watching silver in upcoming weeks and days. That's it with commodities, I think. Let's move to Forex, and we start with dollar index. As you could see, it looks very strong. We had this move to the upside, and we are trading at the top range of that. We touched on Friday again with the yields going higher. We almost touched 10. The high was 109.975. And then we're holding this move. And again, Wednesday announcement will be either pushing it higher, or we might look for support. There's always two scenarios, up or down. It's not going to stay at the same place. So if you look at the major currencies, Australian dollar doesn't look that strong, and euro is proving to be strong. If you remember, I mentioned to you when the dollar was really strong against other currencies, euro has been really holding the parity for 0.99, and then it's still holding that level. And it looks like the traders don't let it fall to that level again. They're trying to buy it at the higher levels. So maybe something is coming, or maybe something is cooking, but euro is looking a little bit strong. You're really holding into this parity. They don't let it really sell off like we did previously below this 0.99 for a couple of days. That's euro. Pound continues to be super weak. I think this is the lowest closing in a long time. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Yes, we are approaching this level here, and that's a weekly chart, and that's 2020, the drop of when pandemic started. The low here was 114.09, and let's take a look. Low 113.50. We broke through that, but we really closed a little bit higher maybe 4 or 5 pips higher than this low. So it doesn't look that strong, but again, it looks like the technicals are working and the historical lows are kicking in and the buyers could be coming in. And I think the people that are holding these are really hoping that this is the bottom. It's very hard to say. We'll be watching it. As of now, it's super weak. Like I said, we reached the pandemic lows levels on pound. NZD also weakened in Australian dollar. And yen. Yen is very interesting. We just confirmed this daily. We had a double tap, probably exact numbers. Let's take a look. This was on the 7th. We reached 144.99, 144.955, and 144.80. So this was the highest point recently, and we missed by 1 pip, the 145 level. So as you could see, they don't let it hit 145. And according to this technicals here, Wednesday we had the sell-off. Thursday we had a little bit of a green day, but nothing strong. And then Friday we sold again. So the Thursday candle would be an indication what's happening next. And I think if we do break the low here, and again, we have on the horizon interest rate decisions for both US and Japan, and of course, others that we mentioned, UK and Switzerland. But here, what's important that maybe we could see finally decisions from Bank of Japan, and the yen will get stronger here, and then we would see continuation to the downside, in which case we're probably we might see a drop to the levels of 141, maybe 139, and so on. So very crucial this week for USD JPY. Swiss franc, also we have both decisions like I mentioned. We'll see what's happening. We're hitting the 100 moving average here, and let's see what this week brings with interest rate decisions there. And USDCAD has been super strong on the weak oil. And again, for the new people, I need to mention that oil has a strong correlation with Canadian dollars. Canada is a big exporter and producer of oil. So as you could see, when the oil got weak and the dollar got stronger, so that's increased the move to the upside. And if you take a look over here, we are facing a near resistance around these levels. So let's see what's happening next in this pair. And 2 more pairs I want to bring up. USD ZAR, as it is popular among our South African customers. Take a look. We are retesting these highs of August 2020, from which we sold out. And it looks like we're facing resistance here. So let's see how the upcoming days are going to play out. So just to give you an idea, 17.67 was the highest. That was the fake breakout. We went lower, and this was 1770, maybe 5 pips shy. No, actually 3 pips higher than this resistance here. So as you could see, history repeats itself. It looks like we are facing resistance here. So we might see a correction to the downside, or if the opposite happens, we need to really close above this resistance and start building up a support, switching from resistance to support. We'll be watching that. And the last one is USD Turkish Lira. It's been holding all this move, steadily moving higher. This was kind of a fake drop, and it came right back. And we are massaging these highs of December 2021. The high was 1837.86. We're a little bit short of that, and we're rounding up here. So one might say, okay, this is the top. Nothing to guess. I just wanted to mention that we are getting closer to this. I think it's an all-time resistance also. And let's finish with our crypto. By the way, Ethereum, if anybody's watching, There was an announcement last week. They merged with another platform. It's supposed to be a positive thing to it. I'm not going to go into these fundamentals, but with the market going lower and the dollar going higher, cryptos are really having a hard time moving higher here, even though we're sitting on this support on Ethereum, and Bitcoin is simply trying to hold onto 20,000. It's a key level. We mention it every time we speak about it. As you could see, we've been sitting exactly on 20,000 for a while, then we dropped, then we went higher, we touched 22.5, and we pretty much confirmed this range of 2,500 between 20,000 and 22.5. And recently we've been really struggling to holding on to 20,000. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's it pretty much with our technical announcement. And I want to thank everyone, of course, for attending our webinars. I hope this is useful. I'll be happy to hear your feedback. And of course, on YouTube, please put your likes if you think that you liked it. Share it with your friends if you think it could be useful for other people. And just to pretty much wrap it up, we spoke about a lot of things today, but the main idea is the Wednesday Fed's decision, and everything is pretty much will be affected by it: the US dollar, the gold, the indices, the commodities, and everything else. So we'll be watching for that announcement. And of course, Monday, the UK has the bank holiday due to the funeral of the Queen. So it's going to be a little bit of unusual day for Europe. And I want to wish everyone a great weekend and a successful upcoming week. All the best, and we'll be back next week. Take care.